Welcome, everybody, and good morning. Good Friday morning to all. Thanks for joining us online for today's office hours. We are going to be talking with you today about, growing your business in different ways through different types of marketing that you can do. So we've got our wonderful host, Kabir Chaudhry, with us today. And I wanted to just give you a little bit of background about our host. Kabir is a result-driven marketing leader with over 10 years of digital marketing experience and experience with business growth as well. And Kabir has international experience, and he's hosted some sessions with us in the past. He's worked B2B, B2C, and B2G audiences with over $100 million in campaign management. He's specializing in performance-based marketing for brand awareness and lead generation. So that's something that's probably going to be very helpful to many of you in the room today. And his international work experience comes from here in Canada, the UK, USA, Belgium, and India. So without further ado, I'd love to pass the mic over to Kabir to talk with you today. And I really want to thank him for volunteering with our hub on 10,000 Coffees. Our City of Toronto Small Business Centre would not be able to run such a successful mentorship program without volunteers like Kabir. So, I'm Felicity Shirk. I'm one of the small business advisors, so I'll just be kind of observing today's meeting. And I wanted to also put a little bit of stuff into the chat just so that all of you know how you can continue to keep in touch with the Small Business Centre. Toronto's Small Business Enterprise Centre is funded by the province. I'll put a few details into the chat. And Kabir, I'm looking forward to your presentation. I'll pass it over to you now. Thanks so much.
All right, perfect. Well, thanks for the introduction, Felicity. I appreciate what you guys are doing as well. So happy to be a part of this, entrepreneurial help and support that you guys are providing. Okay, so welcome everyone. I know it's Friday, and Fridays are usually in a workplace, usually oh, I'm almost close to the weekend, but still have things to do, right? So I'm gonna do today's session slightly different than the previous ones that I've done. I do see some familiar faces, welcome everyone. Michelle, welcome again, and thanks for joining again, everyone. And guys, one thing that I want you to do is I'm gonna be showing you some stuff that I feel is gonna be beneficial, and I'm gonna try to keep it brief. Okay, but based on that, let's say you work for a certain industry or you work for a certain company, and you feel well, how can this help me in my industry, or give me an example based on that. So let's just try to have this Q&A session more interactive, just so we get the most value out of it. Okay, so if you have any questions in the process, just put it on the chat box. I know you guys already submitted questions, but once we join a session, it kind of makes more sense. So because you start getting all those questions as you see things in front of you, right? So without any further ado, let's get straight to the PowerPoint that I have prepared for you guys today. So the first thing that I wanted to touch down on is growth marketing. I've noticed one thing that a lot of people understand what growth and marketing are, but they are kind of confused in terms of what is growth marketing and why is that important, and how is it different from any other type of marketing. Okay, so growth marketing, and again, based on my experience working in the field of marketing over the years, I would consider it one of the best way of marketing your business, especially if you're a small business. Growth marketing should be one of the strategies that you should explore in terms of your marketing campaigns or marketing growth that you're trying to get for your business. Now, a lot of people think when we say growth marketing, they think it's mainly for e-commerce. Well, it does help e-commerce to a certain extent, but it can be implemented for pretty much for any business that you have. Okay, so if you have any type of business, you can, as long as you have a growth strategy and you have a marketing budget around it, it should be pretty resourceful. Now, how does it work? Like, how would a growth marketing work for any entrepreneur that is going to be implementing that in their business? Well, growth marketing is like pretty much like a long-term strategy. Okay, so it's going to help you on the basis of a long-term growth. Okay, so anything that you put as a seed in your growth marketing, it's eventually going to result in like a long-term growth. It does sometimes takes time, depending on like what type of like activity you do in growth marketing. But overall, it is like the type of marketing that would help you sustain a long-term growth. It would help you, like retain new customers, increase your sales, and pretty much like nurture the entire process of growth for your business. Now, another cool, like keyword that a lot of people, especially like the marketers that are out there are using is called growth hacking. I don't know if anyone is aware about growth hacking, but I wanted to touch down on that as well, because growth marketing, growth hacking, like a lot of people think are the same things, or what is the difference? So I just wanted to, like quickly touch down on that as well. So growth marketing, as I said, kind of works towards your long-term growth. Whereas on the other hand, your growth hack is like more towards, like your bootstrap, you have like a very limited budget and you want to get results quickly, right? That's where growth hacking comes into the picture. So let's say if you want to grow your business and you're limited with the amount of money you can spend, then growth marketing is pretty good. Growth hacking is also good in terms of if you have the paid budget and you want to grow or go viral instantly, right? So a lot of businesses adapt to both of these strategies. They do revolve around one another, but like the growth on a growth hack would be short term versus like a growth marketing would be long term for you. Now, a lot of stuff is around this, but like I wanted to, focus more towards organic marketing. Now, again, a lot of you guys want to grow your business. You want to like take your business to the next level. You want to generate more leads, close more deals. You want to do a number of things, right? If you're e-commerce platform, then you want to sell more and then, like get the best ROI on your ad spend. Now, today's focus is all about organic. Okay. If you have a question about other than organic, I can answer that. But like my like entire observation and like or anything that I would be explaining in this presentation would be revolving around organic marketing, which in other words is like marketing that you don't use like with paid advertisement. Like you just set up different processes where your business would pick up on basis of like organic growth. Okay, so I hope that's clear. If anyone has any questions in terms of like what growth marketing is and how that can help you, or like even if you should be using it or you should be using, like other types of marketing like performance marketing or growth hack or, like any other type of thing that you feel would be, like good for your business. Now, I wanted to touch down on a few things. The next thing that I wanted to touch down on was like one of the most important question, and I saw like a lot of you guys ask the same thing on your questions as well when you like submitted your forms for this webinar. What is working in 2023? Like what do I recommend is gonna help businesses grow in 2023? So I do have like some like big segments and I'm gonna give you my examples, like what's working, what's not working. Okay, so if I was you, I would just recommend like get a like a piece of paper and pen, or like just type this out, because I'm going to be giving a lot of information that's just verbal, and I would say that like take notes as like as per whatever examples work in your scenario. Now, before I do that, I just wanted to like quickly go through what are the initial stages. Like with respect to anything that I recommend today or anything that you guys are doing, let's say, for example, like a platform like Instagram is working for you, or a platform like, let's say you're doing blogging on daily basis and blogs really drive traffic for you. That is good. That those are some good strategies that are working for you. What I would say, you need to start with the first step, that would be creating a strategy. In growth hack or even growth marketing, the first thing that you're always going to do is come up with a strategy, because you don't want to waste your money. You want to be very well positioned in the market, and you want to make sure you are creating a strategy, you're creating goals, you're, even if like it's like, let's say you go like, well, I'm going to use 3 different platforms that I'm going to be promoting my products, or 3 different ways of growing your business. Write it all down, document it, and then track what platform or what strategy is working for you. This is a classic mistake. Any presentation that you would see from my end, I would always talk about strategy. Reason being, it's really important. Like if you're not focusing on strategy, or if you're not creating a proper plan where you're like analyzing where you stand right now in the market, or where does your product stand, like in the now majority of growth marketing is used for non-traditional methods such as like digital marketing. So first step, like check where you stand with your actual products. Where do you stand with your website? What type of landing page or lead magnets you already have set up, and how are they converting? Now, my personal favorites on this, you can always do this on Google Analytics. You can use other tools as well. There are a number of tools that are available. One tool that I really like is heat maps. Heat maps and screen recording of what's happening on our website. I can give you a software that I personally use. It's called Hotjar. It's pretty unique in terms of what it does. Like it tracks where people are clicking on your website, how many people are visiting. It even records what is the user doing on your website, like where they move their mouse, where they click on what pages are they clicking on, and how many times are they clicking on everything. Okay, so that's like one example that I would start with. I want to understand where, and I would say like for all of you guys over here that are attending this webinar, make sure you analyze and understand where you stand in with your current existence online. Now, second thing, start working on content. Now, no matter if you're like what kind of niche your product or your brand is working in, there's always content needed for everything, right? Now, a lot of people like create content, but like they create content based on what others are doing. Okay, so I would say that's one of the worst strategy that anyone can do. Like, do not copy what others are doing, because that content already exists in the market. So what I would say, write down all the problems that your product, your service is going to solve. Okay, and why are you different in terms of whatever your offerings are? And your entire content should be created based off like what are the problems and how your product is solving it. So let's say another example I can give you towards a content. I have a simple rule, like when I create content for any, especially like video or image or any blog even that we write, 80% of that is talking about the problem, and 20% of that is the product, and the product is usually solving the problem, right? That really works well, because you are explaining what are the key things that your product is going to solve, and you take examples, you take generic examples from your own industry, and then write up like stuff or create video content, and based on that you have a certain like content pre-built or like build it as you go, which you can utilize for your growth marketing. Now, optimize your content. If you have like an old video that you recorded, or you have like some blog and you go like, well, I wrote this blog on my website, but it never got any attraction or any traffic from anyone. Well, the problem is simple. Like, it's not optimized enough. Like, you have to go back and optimize it with the right tools. Now, in terms of optimizing content, I know, like, there's a lot of talk that people are saying towards artificial intelligence, AI, chat GPT, all these softwares that are, uh, writing content for you with artificial intelligence. Now, in terms of optimizing your content, no matter how you write your content with the AI or you write it yourself, my personal favorite is like go on some tool that's going to help you with some SEO ranking or give you a preview of how your content ranks on, or like in terms of Google, for example. Now the tool that I use is like called SEMrush. So one of in SEMrush, you have a particular tool where you can write your content and you would know how it it gives you a rating out of 100. So let's say if your content is ranking anywhere over 80, that is usually a good start. And that kind of helps you, like, I mean, even before you go publish your content, you kind of know where you stand. Now, once you're done with all these like basic things and you're writing this down as a part of your strategy, you need to evaluate and improve. Now go back from back to your step one, analyze everything again, and like figure out what has worked for you. And let's say any particular platform that's working for you, you need to like 10x on that. You're gonna multiply your efforts on those platforms, and they're gonna work in your growth strategy. Now, one thing that I can tell everyone over here is like a lot of people like start promoting their products on platforms just because they think their clients are over there. So let's say if I'm selling a professional service, like I'm going to use LinkedIn for that. Okay, if it's like a professional service, like let's say taxation or like lawyer or any professional service that would would be promoted, I would start off with LinkedIn. And there are a number of ways you can promote content on LinkedIn, and you don't even have to run paid advertising. There are ways where you can relate to it. Now, on the other hand, if your audience is like younger audience, like people between the age of 18 to let's say 25, Snapchat, TikTok, Instagram, they all work really good on those age groups. 25 and above, or let's say 25 to let's say around 45, Facebook's good, but like a lot of that audience is like really big on Instagram again. Instagram is like really influential in terms of what it is capable of doing. Like I've seen people who just like organically have grown from 0 to 300,000 followers in a month on Instagram with the right type of content, and they just have organically have grown their business 400, 500% in terms of the growth that they have seen. Now, so the point I'm trying to make over here is like there are platforms, but you have to pick and choose, right? Like you can always post content on all the platforms, but what I'm trying to say is like, let's say if, for example, Instagram is working well for you, and focus more on Instagram. Okay, you can still replicate the same content. Like there's easy ways where you can use some tools where they can resize your image. They can like create it. Once you have a video content, they can resize your video as well, and you can place it on multiple social platforms. Okay, now let's go further with like the key topic today, and I'm going to give you examples with all of these. What's working in 2023? Okay, SEO. I'm not going to go too much in detail what SEO is, but like anything that ranks on Google and shows up in higher ranking is something that SEO helps with, right? Now, what do I recommend in SEO in 2023? What is working in SEO? There are two things that are working in SEO. Number one, local SEO. A lot of businesses, they hire an agency to do SEO, or like usually it's starting off with like writing a blog or posting links on different websites, which are usually called backlinks. That is fine. Like, I mean, if you do that, but I would say focus on local SEO. Okay, if your product is being sold out of Toronto and that's your audience, and let's say if you're like a plumbing service, for example, right, and you usually give your services around GTA. Now, if you rank, let's say in Vancouver, British Columbia, and you rank on page number 1, but then you can't really like service those guys, right? So you want to make sure you understand where your market is, and that is something that you obviously have to answer for yourself. But like once you figure that out, focus on local SEO. Local SEO is so powerful right now that a lot of business owners, especially in like B2B audience, they're not even using it. Now, second thing that I would recommend for SEO, if you have a marketing agency or if you do your marketing yourself, talk to them about long tail keywords. Okay, what are long tail keywords? I'm going to give you a quick example. Let's say if I'm trying to find a restaurant near me, right? Like one keyword that could be like restaurant near me, right? Or there could be a keyword that not many people are using, like restaurants with bring your own wine, or restaurants with fusion food, or any keyword that could link to a potential customer towards your business, but that needs to be a long tail keyword. Like people usually use Google or any search engine platform to usually get answers. How do I cook a meal, or like how can I find the best restaurant? What are the top restaurants? What are the best restaurants, right? That's a usual like keyword that people would use. But like you can write stuff like like top 3 restaurants around your area. And I've done this with a number of my clients, like because in some areas it's really competitive. I had a client that I work with that they were doing like insurance and loans, mortgage and insurance as like pretty much like a financial service, and paid keywords were costing them anywhere around from $18 to $25 just for a click. CPC, okay, cost per click. Now, and then they came to me and then they said like, well, you're spending all this money and we do get results, but we get results like one like cost of acquiring a client was around like $600-$700 with them. They were getting leads, but like the conversion rate was so high, and for some services it could even go up to like $1,000. I mean, they were getting attraction, don't get me wrong, like, but they were not converting the right people, because like the one thing that with internet these days is like people are always shopping around for options, right? If you're not the first person to pick up their phone, they're going to go on the second website. So long tail keywords are really good. Okay, social media organic marketing, with respect to whatever your niche is, like create an account on every single social media platform that is out there. Okay, I've seen business owners, they will go like, well, I have a page on like Facebook and LinkedIn. I don't think my audience is on TikTok, or they're on Instagram or Twitter. And that's a mistake, because you should always open up social accounts on every single platform that exists. I would even say go on platforms like Pinterest, go on platforms like Reddit, go on platforms like Curve. Like, go post your information over there. You don't have to keep on updating it. To be honest, like, you don't have to go back and forth like and manage 10 different accounts. There are also softwares that can do that for you, right? There are a number of software that can post on multiple social media platforms. So save yourself time if you're doing it yourself. If you have an agency, ask them, you want to like have links and information about your brand all over every single social platform. Reason being, let's say if I search for your brand on Google, those social platforms are always going to outrank any competitor you have, right? Like, I mean, competitors are not going to grow bigger than Instagram or Facebook or Twitter, because they get, like, these websites are getting billions of users throughout the year, right? So focus on getting your links set up on everything. Now, my personal favorite in terms of social media platforms right now in 2023 is like Instagram and TikTok. Okay, Those two work really good. Facebook is also good, but I'm going to tell you what's working on all of these platforms. And again, please write this down if you're already creating notes. I would say number one thing that I'm seeing is working really good is Reels. Reels are, like video content in general is good. Reels are killing it. Reels are like doing even better than, like impose feed, like whatever you have. And you can very easily make, like a reel go viral. Okay, so make sure you focus on your reels. Second thing that I've seen that you should focus on, and that is like something to do with like the algorithm on Meta, for example, like Facebook and Instagram, is like, let's say if you have a post or a video that you added on your social platform. Now, amount of likes versus amount of comments, I would say in that comparison, like try to get more comments on your post. The more comments on your post would lead, tell the algorithm, well, people are like there's something going on with this topic, this image, this video is getting some sort of attraction, and that would 100% contribute towards you to get organic growth. Okay, likes or followers are no longer that relevant compared to like comments. So if I was to rank, even like I would rank, like comments on the first thing. I mean, the first thing that I would rank would be sharing. If anyone shares your content, that's like the absolute win, right? Because they're really sharing your content. That's like, and then the next thing after that, I would try to see in terms of my, like growth metrics. That would be obviously be like how many comments is it getting, right? And then like likes and followers. Now, do it consistent. Like you might be creating video content, you might go like, well, like like I post content all the time and there's no attraction, no one's following me, like or sometimes in the initial stage, like I've seen a lot of entrepreneurs, they would start promoting their stuff on social media, like back and forth. Like I've seen people that would sometimes post content 3 or 4 times a day, right? Now that also brings you to a question, like how many times should you be posting on it? Like is there like a set rule, like, or should they like like not post that often? So I'm going to give you an answer on that, but before that, like a lot of people post on social media and they see no growth on social platforms and they go like, well, this is not even worth my time, and they stop doing it, right? Well, what is the reason behind it? Is like simple, like they're not seeing growth, but like they're not seeing growth for 2 reasons. First, their content is not good. The content is not connecting with the audience. So it's not even the platform, it's your content that you need to look into. Second, it's not well edited. Okay. Now, this is like something that I've seen, and this is like based on like spending like almost over like $1 million on different video campaigns. One thing that I've seen in terms of trends, people would view your video, like they would bounce or they would leave your video after 5 seconds. And I would say 90% of people like leave after 3 seconds. So if you have like a long introduction or you don't have like captions or information at the very first stage, then it doesn't matter. Your content needs to explain or at least give an insight on what it is within the first 5 seconds. I would say even like first 3 seconds to be really impactful. So if you have your goodie content at like the after 30 seconds or 1 minute is where you start talking about the real stuff, that people are not even going to go over there. And for those of you who run YouTube channels or Instagram reels or whatever you do, you can see that those trends. This is like something that industry talks about. A lot of people say it's 7 seconds, but based on what I've seen with results that I've gained over the past 1 or 2 years, they usually leave your stuff after 3 to 5 seconds. Okay, so create your content accordingly. Create lead magnets. Whatever you do, like any blog you write, any video content that you create, any type of activity you do, always capture the information. Always be asking for some sort of create a value, create an offer, and try to capture information out of it, right? Now, you can do it a number of ways, like lead magnets. Again, like there are a number of websites that you can look into. Like my personal favorites are like Opt-in Monster, Lead Pages, and ClickFunnels is pretty good as well. Now, email marketing leads back to lead magnet. If you're not capturing information of people on your website, you're just like not gonna ever build a list. So focus on email marketing. Keep your, even if you have like, let's say 10 people on your database and you're trying to work towards getting 100 or 1,000 or 100,000, always send out information, right? It doesn't matter how many people are on your database. Like sometimes like it just takes 5 people and one person is going to convert into like, you know, like a big paying client for you. So I would say focus on that. Live events and webinars. I did this session last time on lead generation. I did focus on that, this topic extensively on that. I'm going to give you a quick touchdown on this. For majority of my clients that are focused on B2B audience, not B2C, business to business audience, their highest you know, like ROI or lead generation is coming through webinars that offer value. Okay, so I would say try to get you know, like into try out a webinar in your own niche, right? It's like set up a webinar, create an offer, create a value, and then explain your products as well in that webinar. You are indirectly going to sell your company and your products, but you have to be there, and it takes no cost to set up a webinar other than the software cost or like the labor that you have to put in. And now the question is like, how do I get people to like sign up for my webinar? Simple. Go on all the organic platforms that can provide you registrations, Eventbrite, Facebook events, LinkedIn events, Yelp events. Go on all of these websites. They're completely free. And you can post your event, and then you can start sharing and encourage people to like share it. Even if you get 10 people at the very first webinar, that's still a win. Okay, you build from someplace, and then by doing the webinar, you also create the content, right? You already did like and then you can run the same webinar, not as a live webinar, but just like a rerun of the same thing. And then you can play with the add copy and like whatever you want to do. Podcasts, a lot of people, you know, like when the live streaming and like all this webinar stuff was growing really big during COVID or post-COVID, like a lot of people said like podcasts are gonna, you know, like die off, or like people want to see a video rather than listening to an audio. I would say podcasts are getting back. Like podcasts with like all the platforms right now. For example, Twitter Space is a new feature on Twitter, and I would say if you haven't already utilized it, start using it. The algorithm on that, the growth on that is really, really good right now, because they're trying to grow the platform, right? They want people to like set up podcasts. They want people to discuss things on you know, like not just tweet or like you know, like comment on stuff. They want people to do like pretty much like live podcasts on Twitter. So I would say use that space. Like it is really good, and it has been very effective. Digital PR, if you're launching a new product, or you're revamping your website, or you are trying to create a mobile app, or you're doing something new, or you have a new product line that is, you know, like somewhat you know, competitive in terms of what you're offering, there are a number of platforms that you can go and post your content as a news. Okay, I can give you some links top of my head. Like I do have some platforms that do that. Like there are platforms like Slevio. Like there are other platforms that do it as well. I can give you the names of that. Like if you want, like you can ask me on you know, like the 10,000 Coffee platform, and we can just like discuss that over there. Content partnership. If you are seeing like there are some influencers in your space, or some you know, like partners that you can collaborate with. Usually majority of companies that have a physical product, what they usually do is like they would find an influencer in their space. They would give the product for free for exchange of like a shout. Okay, and we see that on Instagram all the time, right? Like people create content for other companies, and they I mean, you would be amazed that they are not really charging that much money. A lot of people think like, well, content partnership or influencer is gonna just like break my bank. But the answer is like, if you don't reach out to them and if you don't ask for the cost, or like just start off with like, well, I'm starting off my business. I have this physical product, or I have this service. Can you just promote it on your with your users? And for the exchange of that, I'm going to give you some sort of like product or service for free, right? Affiliate marketing, it works pretty much on the same basis as content partnership, but like affiliates are more towards when someone else sells a product for you, you give them a commission on that. So let's say if you have a product that you're trying to sell, and then you want to, like you identify me as one of the like people that can write a blog about it or on my website, and then that could convert into some paying clients for you, then do an affiliate. Usually the percentage on that can go anywhere from like 5 to 25%, depending on how your product is, like and how much space you have in terms of like giving the profit margins to the like the person that's doing affiliate. Now, number one caution on affiliate marketing that people always ask me, like, how do I find my influencers? How do I find the websites that would help me with that? Simple solution. Go on Google, write a few things about your product, like search for example, let's take an example of restaurant again. Now you type best restaurants in Toronto, see what websites are ranking. There's always going to be a blog written by a private company that can easily include your restaurant over there as well. So start off with that. Find what ranks on Google, page 1. Page 2, like there's a saying like page 2, like is where you it's almost like a graveyard. Like like page 2 helps with nothing. That's where you put the dead bodies. Okay, that's I didn't say it, but like some marketer did, and that is kind of true. Like page 2 gets you nothing. Like you need to be on page 1 on Google. If that's not the case, then people have already gone through like usually 10 websites that show up over there, and they're just not going to value you as a business, right? So try to like work on that. One good thing that I've noticed, like and this is completely free again, Google business page. If you don't have a Google business page, create one. And then I would say even spend time on your page by creating keywords on it. I don't know if you guys have like played with Google business pages, but you can mention your services. You can provide every single information on it. Now, you might go like, well, I don't have a physical store, or I don't really give my services in person. Still open a business page. Reason being, it really helps with local SEO. Every time you go on your mobile device and you go like search for anything, the first thing that you're going to show in terms of the recommendation would be local businesses around it. That is literally your local SEO. Okay, so make sure you utilize like all all these things that I've just said. Obviously there are a number of other things that you can do, but like all the things that I've written down over here, and the examples, and like the things that I've said over here is what I've seen is working really good in 23. Okay, if you have a specific question with any of these like strategies that I have over here, I'm happy to give you any more examples or explain you from like give an example with your niche, if or anything that could help, right? So like ask me questions on the Zoom chat box, like leave your questions over there. I can at the end I'm going to answer all the questions. Okay, so let's hopefully this somewhat like like in the short time that I spent on all of these things, hopefully it gives you some sort of direction now. Okay, now if some of the things that I spoke about, you already would be doing it, but like some of the things you might go like, well, I haven't even touched on it, let me just try this strategy now. Or create a plan. Okay, make sure you have a strategy, you have a plan in place, create a schedule for yourself every single day, post something. Now, to answer one more thing that I was talking about earlier, how many times should you post your content? There is no limit to it, to how many times you should post it. Okay, but there's a limit towards what your content speaks about. Okay, if your content is not making sense, it's not getting any response, then there's a problem. Okay, so a good content, and also another mistake that I've seen people that usually do is like they go like, well, I don't have a cameraman, I don't have like like money for like a studio level production, or it could be like just like different reasons that you can give. Well, that's the reason I don't really like have my products being created on video content. Well, the answer is that's all. You just been creating excuses for yourself. People are not going to judge your product based off how good the quality of your ad is. In terms of video, you can just like literally take your phone, create content all day long, and like post it on social media. Now, I don't know how many of you know Grant Cardone, who is one of the top real estate experts. And what Grant does all day long, he's creating content by himself. The guy's like a billionaire, and he creates content on his own. All he does is like goes on his phone, and then he just records whatever he think is going to work for his product or his services. And sometimes you have to even create value outside of your product. Let's say if your audience is entrepreneurs, and you are based in business to business or business to consumer, whatever your segment is, try to create content that could lead to your product. So let's say if you are selling something, let's say on e-commerce, let's say you have a clothing store, right? Now, someone who's going to buy clothes, they're also going to buy accessories, right? They're going to buy other stuff. They might buy perfumes. They might buy different types of items. I mean, that's a very, generic industry. So I would say focus on other aspects of it as well. Bring people through like different, like cross-channel marketing platforms. So that would help you towards that. Okay, so I know we are running out of time a bit, and I just want you to quickly touch on this. Some of the things that I just said is also an answer to the question that you guys have asked, but like I do have the list of questions that you guys have created. So obviously I'm going to answer all of those. Okay, so let's just take one question at a time, and then I will give you my advice on what I feel. Commercial cleaning company. Well, you should, like 100% start with what I just said earlier. You need to focus on local SEO. Commercial cleaning company or any cleaning company, even residential cleaning company, I would say it's all sense of urgency is when people are usually looking for your services, right? They're not going to be like, well, let me just like, out of blue, for no reason, start searching for a cleaning company. So I would say there's obviously going to be some pain points that they are having with their existing company, or they're trying to find a new cleaning company. So I would say focus on local SEO, keep your content relevant, give before and after videos as part of your content, and try to encourage people based on that. Now, the second thing is, the second question over here is like, how can you make content using AI? Well, just the answer is simple. There are a number of tools. Like I can't even, stress about like how many, companies that do AI content. ChatGPT is one of the big ones. There are other contents like Jasper or other companies that you can look into as well. Content's good. It does create your content. Sometimes it does, give you content that is very relevant. But make sure AI content with a lot of platforms is not real time. Okay, so for example, ChatGPT, if I'm not mistaken, it gives you content before September 2021. Okay, so it's only searching content based on that. So be you can use AI to your benefit by creating a certain degree of content, but like make sure you still proofread your content, and like make sure you understand it is making sense towards like like the person you're trying to show the content to. So it's very important. So make sure you focus on that. And now quality of content, again, it depends. Like you can't just like rely on AI to post content for you and like expect some magic to take place. I would say use AI to your benefit, create content through it, but just do not rely that it's gonna just do some sort of magic. If that was the case, then everyone on internet would start ranking, and on Google there's like it's based on list views, right? You only rank to a certain level. Different ways of organic marketing, we already covered that. Growing your Instagram, focus on reels, focus on relevant content. Content is the key. Offer value by solving problems, offer value by talking about relevant topics to your industry. To just like also another thing that I can tell you, like when you're posting content on Instagram, you should not be just like promoting your product. As I said, talk 80% about like what is the problem in the industry, and 20% about like promotion of your product. So if you have a video on Instagram talking about what your product does and you're expecting it to do wonders, it's not really going to do anything much to your advantage. So I would just say, like, make sure you create content that offers some value. Now, what are the most effective organic methods for B2B? I would say all the things that I said earlier were pretty effective. Now, to start off with B2B, do some research, figure out what simple ways of finding out what platforms could potentially work for you. Is like seeing what your competitors are already doing, and also see what platforms they are missing out on. If they're missing out on a platform, maybe like that's opening platform for you. So explore options based on that. Now, growing business with SEO, again, you can't really just like completely rely on organic marketing as well, like unless you're really a genius in terms of creating content. But what I would say is like in terms of growing the business, focus on more towards multiple strategies. And for SEO, see, like this SEO cannot get you results overnight. Okay, SEO takes time. Like on-site SEO can take up to like 30 days to even do something for you. Okay, so yeah, with organic, when we use the word organic, you have to be somewhat patient with like how you test different types of marketing strategies for yourself. Now, do you think the same marketing technique applies for artists? Like it works for everyone. It works for every single industry. Okay. All right. So another thing that I wanted to mention today, I did based on like your company names that everyone that has asked questions over here. I went on a lot of company websites that you guys have mentioned that you work for or you own, and I noticed one big mistake and I want you to do this homework on your end. Was that like a lot of you guys don't have your call to action buttons done correctly on your website? Some of the websites I found, like, and I'm talking about like, like everyone that has registered for this event. I noticed like a lot of you guys have not done your website right. So I would say learn a bit more about where to place your call to action buttons, and again, go check your heat maps for your website. Okay, so that's really important in terms of like understanding what's going to work. Now, organic marketing, growth marketing works for every industry. Like I cannot think of a niche or industry that would not be benefiting from it, because if it's digital marketing, organic marketing 100% works. Now, how to develop traction with little traffic to my website? Well, I would say start off with like like very fundamental of like making sure your website is done right. If you think your heat map or your like tracking of events is telling you that everything is working fine in the place, like people are going on your website and they're finding where to like inquire or add their information. Usually those are called lead forms. So that needs to be placed very properly, correctly on your website. Let's take the next question. Want to launch a software as a service platform. Market is full of options. 100%. Like SaaS space startups are doing really good, and if you have a product that could work towards this, I would say that's gonna help. Like they're not, without any doubt, there like number of companies that are growing. Like SaaS companies are even bigger than the traditional companies. And I mean, you can see all the social platforms. There are billions and billions dollar worth of platforms, and they're bigger than some of the biggest giant corporations. Now, what are the market is full of options. Need help to position my MVP. Okay, so my only suggestion over here would be, first of all, if you have already launched something, if you have done something, fine, then look into where you stand right now with the existing marketing. If you're just starting off, one thing that could potentially work, other than whatever I covered earlier, I would say you need to make a list of review websites. For software services, there are hundreds and hundreds of websites where you can post your company information, your product information, and they are completely free. They would just take your company profile over there. So that would be a start, and that would help you with a lot of off-site growth, like or off-site SEO. For anyone doesn't know what off-site SEO is, I would say in simple terms, it's like external websites that have your website or your company information. Okay, so that's where you can start off with in terms of organic, and then explore what's working, what's not working, do all the other things that I've mentioned, and based off doing some exercise on or implementing a few things, and then go back and track everything, see what's working, what's not working. Okay, how do I grow organically in short time? If you're trying to grow in really quick or short time span, I would say SEO, you can do it, but it's not going to be really impactful. So in terms of organic, I would say social platforms are your best bet. I've seen, as I said, people growing from 0 to 300,000 followers on Instagram, all organic, no bots, just by putting up relevant content that's going to resonate well with the audience. Now, in terms of the last question, how do you find and reach out my potential customers? Again, you check what your competitors are doing, do a competitor analysis. There are tools that, again, as I said, like SEMrush is one tool that I use for that kind of stuff, where I want to see where people are going, towards in terms of the websites. I track everything on that platform, and I mean, you can even use other platforms. There's no right or wrong platform as long as they do the job for you. Now, what are the sufficient way to grow and spread my small business? Well, small businesses are, usually bootstrap, or, you don't have hundreds of thousands of dollars in your marketing budget. So I would say start off, spend most of your money on content creation, and then place it on the right platforms. If you have the content done right, you're going to see results organically. So only investment that I would say to everyone that is attending this or watching this webinar, I would say focus on, growing through, with the right content. Okay, so if anyone wants to connect with me, you can scan this QR code, and that links to my LinkedIn profile. And if anyone wants to have a chat or want to talk to about any topics after this session, feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. And hopefully, I was able to help you guys with some insight on or give you some information on what was being discussed today. I know 1 hour sessions usually it's also a work day for a lot of you guys, so there would be a recording of this. So if anyone wants to grab a recording, just ask me on the Thousand platform, and I should be able to give you a link for this. Okay, thank you. So I still see few people are still connected. So Phil City, do you have anything you wanted to mention? I remember like there was a newsletter that you guys have that people
Yeah,
can subscribe to,
yeah,
get some value out of it.
do. Thanks, Kabir. We do have a newsletter. If you guys take a look at just the top of the chat, and this will, since the session's recorded, that will also kind of make its way into the recording. But in the top of the chat, I've indicated some ways you can connect with the Small Business Center, our website, and of course, I've inserted a link there to our weekly newsletter called Business TO. Many of you are probably already subscribed, but please do, sign up for that. We're doing a small business forum on October 30th. So there's details in the newsletter about that. It's a free event. If you want to come out to that, it's at Metro Toronto Convention Center. So I want to thank everyone for being here on this office hours. We try to do one of these each month on a different topic. I really thank Kabir for being here. I always take away new info from your sessions, Kabir, especially Yelp events. That's something I didn't know about. Many of the other platforms I've been aware of, but that's a new one for me. So thank you for sharing so much great stuff about organic growth and marketing. Many of our clients, they may not have that big budget for marketing. So this is a way that you can empower them to kind of understand that there are some ways that they can explore marketing without putting in that cost other than their own time and labor. So I want to thank you again for being here and everyone online for joining us. Thanks again on behalf of the City of Toronto and 10,000 Coffees. Connect with one another there and have a great weekend, everybody.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you for hosting this again. And all right, guys, I'm going to see you hopefully in the next few webinars that I'm going to be doing with the, Phil City, and we can talk about that. But thank you. I appreciate everyone who stayed till the end. And hopefully I'm going to be seeing you guys more in the future sessions. Thank you.
All right, everybody, take care. Have a great day. Bye.